Gonna build a mountain, I hope I will. Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, I only know I'm gonna try.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk. It's your Camel again, and in today's episode of Planet Zoo preview, questions, analysis, and whatnot, we are going to talk about fur, skins, however you want to call it, the variations of appearance of animals. So, the past couple of days, my voice again, never mind. The past couple of days, I have been looking into several things regarding the upcoming Planet Zoo game, and I was about to cover the variations of animals in terms of how they act and how they appear and whatnot. But the problem was, first of all, many other people have done this already, so I didn't want to kind of carbon copy them, even though I would have loved to do this. And the second thing is, I didn't have that much time to make it that way. I was happy with it, and we don't have enough information yet about this. So maybe I'm gonna put that to a later stage of the development when we know more about what's gonna happen and how they will act and how deep the simulation of animals will be. However, there's one thing that is also as important or equally important than their behavior, and this is their appearance. What we do know already is that Frontier is simply incredible at doing animations and graphics of animals. And why can I be that certain about this and that, confidently talking about that like that? It's basically because of Jurassic World Evolution. And to not talk about simulation of the animals quite yet, we need to talk about how incredible the animals simply look. And the good thing about this is that many things of this can translate into Planet Zoo in the future. And as you can see in the background, the image I used also for the thumbnail is a kind of manipulated screenshot we have already. Let me just quickly click on my little icon. This is the image we got from Frontier last week, and this is what I made out of it with a very poorly Photoshop edited version of it. I simply wanted to show that there can be a fur variant of the animal. Now, we have seen something like that in another game Frontier made, and this is this one. So this is Jurassic World Evolution. That's one of the earlier screenshots, I think even before the game was released. And I think this was even the screenshot where it was kind of obvious that we will get gene splicing, gene manipulation in terms of having different skin variations. What people didn't know back then is that we can actively decide how the dinosaurs will look. So yes, I know it is definitely super difficult to compare Jurassic World Evolution to a zoo game, simply because we are not genetically manipulating or even creating the animals in our zoo. We are talking about actual existing animals that are not there is no need to manipulate them, even though people do it, what we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. So what I want to talk about is what kind of variations do we have, and to what degree will this have an effect in the game, or actually what would I love to see in the game, and what would actually be a cool grade of or a degree of customization in terms of animals. Do I want to have the chance to genetically manipulate the animals? No, obviously not. I don't want to see stuff like that in the game. However, it would be super cool to have at least a little bit of a functionality to at least have a variation in terms of appearance of the animals in my enclosure, because after a while seeing the same grizzly bear 7 times over and over again kind of is boring. And the thing with animals is, as it is with our entire wildlife, it is so incredibly divergent, and it is simply not the same. It is always individual. Even though you have the same feeling about 2 animals of the same kind, they are not the same. The same goes for humans as well. So you don't want to be compared to another one as this was your clone or whatnot. However, maybe it's your sibling, but it is something to really keep in mind, that this is something what is also a little detail, but this detail can make a huge difference in the end. Let me just quickly skip to the next one, which is this image over here, also from Jurassic World Evolution, and this is obviously how it was made. You could research the different cosmetic genomes or genes that can be applied to the animal. So yes, we can't do this in a zoo game, or actually I don't know because I don't know the game yet, but you shouldn't be able to do this in a zoo game, let me put that this way. And from my feelings, it's not necessary at all to have it that way, but we know that there will be breeding in the game, and breeding is a process where you put actually two things together to create a new one. Somewhat what you do with genes as well, how great nature was to already know that way before humans did know that, right? So the cool thing about this is it is kind of naturally happening, but now it would be so cool to have at least a little bit control over this. And yeah, let me just skip back to this image over here. And the cool thing about this image is especially, and no, let me just move the original image in place. Boom, there we go. The cool thing about this is you can already tell from this image that it seems to be a male and a female bear here. I'm not an expert on bears, but what I can tell from this image is obviously the fur looks different, but also the overall muscle appearance of the bears look different. The ears kind of look different, and also the mouth and the overall shape of the face looks a little bit different to the other one. And let me just quickly show you what I meant. So what we do have here is we have this nose putting or just pointing a little bit more upwards, where this one seems to be a bit more like this. I know it's a different angle, but you can definitely tell also from this line over here that this seems to be a bit more different than it is over here, which curves a little bit to the upside or to the inside of the eyes, so that it makes this work. Then we have also the ears pointing a bit more upwards than these ones. They are pointing a bit more downwards. So why am I talking about that? Because I want to talk about skins. Well, because it seems that we do already have something that is... Wait, why can't I just redo these things? That would be super awesome if I could simply redo these things. What's gonna happen here? Oh my god, okay, I just forgot to do this. Anyways, let's render this one and now get rid of these little things. Okay, cool. So, why am I talking about... Oh, wait, I have forgotten to put it in position again, so here we go. And male and female have already a different skin fact. At least it's what I get from this image. And the cool thing is now, if we have, for example, also a female version that is way darker than her, and if we put her together with him, I'm just assuming that's a him here, let's call him Pete for the moment, and we're gonna get Pete together with, I don't know, Claudia, let's call her Claudia, and Pete and Claudia are both pretty dark. We're getting a dark baby, aren't we? And so the question would be, if we put Pete together with the brightest animal, which we, I don't know, call her Linda, right? And put them together, do they get kind of a brighter appearing kid, so that we kind of can create a more bright species in that way, or not species, that would be a little bit too far-fetched maybe, but kind of just control what we do want to have, so that we kind of want to go how we do put animals together to get the puppies we want, if that makes any sense. I know it's not the best way to think about it, but I don't know, I just was wondering how much this works. And now, actually, because I do want to base that somewhat also in real life, and this is not just me talking about appearance in a game, we do have some examples, obviously, from the real life, just from nature. And as you can see from these images, this is all the grizzly bear, and also this image we've seen from the game. Let me just go back once more. Whoops, there we go. This is the grizzly bear, and obviously you can tell from this image already that Frontier did a great job in making this animal. I think it's really, if you look, for example, at the form of the nose and how it works with the fur and the ears, and just compare it to what you can see here, that's already very stunning work. But as you can see, they all differ a little bit in how they appear. Yes, they are slightly different grizzly bear variants of this, because it does differ from where they actually live, so the environment always has influence on how an animal appears. So as some of you may know, but for example, most of the function of a skin or fur is being or has its origin in the nature itself. So for example, a zebra has these kind of stripes to warn their opponents, to make them being a little bit scared and confused, because like a zebra has kind of a hard time living around with lions, right? And so the skin color and the color variants of them have specific meaning to them to give them a little bit of protection by just looking and appearing like they do. And on the same side, the lines give them personality. So since zebras kind of look all the same in our human eyes, zebras themselves can differentiate between each other pretty well by just the arrangement of the stripes. So they do actually know each other. It's like a fingerprint having these stripes, and we talked about that already in the last analysis video, which is a super cool fact about zebras in general. They really use this skin appearance to their favor, and the same goes for basically any animal you can think of. So take for example snakes. Some of the snakes have a different skin tones to make them appear less in the nature, so they can hide better to make sure that they can hunt better. And also some spiders do have a certain skin painting to make them hide better. And let me not start to talk about chameleons, for example. So animals do have a lot more usage to their skin than we humans have, and please take that with a lot of care, because I know how important our skin as a human is, but our skin just can't change color, for example. It's a bit sad, but it's actually true. We can't change color. However, if you eat too many carrots, you potentially have a little bit of a more orangey skin, but that's not what I meant. We cannot actively change our color. So again, I really hope that we are able to somehow have at least a tiny bit of control about how animals do appear. If not, I really hope that there is a lot of maybe even algorithm-driven variants in it, and so kind of you have a shuffle mode for textures, if that makes sense. And I feel like it is even a little bit easier than with the Jurassic World evolution, somewhat. I'm not talking about exactly, but the dinosaurs had a very distinctive skin variant to them, because the Jurassic World Evolution series is grounded in the films, and the films have a huge fan base of people going crazy about every single pixel of the skin of their velociraptors, for example. And this is why, let me just quickly bring in these, oops, there we go. I found this on Reddit, I guess it was, where people created the Jurassic Park 3 skin variants of the velociraptors and kind of glued them over the actual in-game skin that the people made from Frontier. And people in the internet do appreciate these a lot better than the normal ones, which is not grounded in bad work of Frontier necessarily. It's more grounded in the fact that they stick to what they know, right? And this is somewhat something that can't really happen with the nature, because nature is the best creator of skins in general. And so yeah, if there's an algorithm, or at least, 50 variants of skins in the backlog, so that they all differ, that would be awesome. Because the one thing I really fear is, and this is something that has happened in the past, but this is due to the fact that the game industry wasn't that far developed, and technologies wasn't that far developed. So you had 2 or 3 color variants, and basically they shared all the same texture, which makes sense to save performance, and also it wasn't really that much more necessary. But nowadays, especially if you take a look back on this image, how freaking detailed this image is. And let me just see, because this is only 50%. We got these images in 4K, so this is 100%. Look at the detail. You can't just share the same texture all over again. That would absolutely make the game look a lot more boring than it actually could look. And this is something hopefully Frontier takes into account. I'm pretty sure they do, but I really wonder, and I really want to see how this goes and goes interaction. Whoops, that was the wrong image. I want to click on this one. And now, guys, it's up to you. Let's start a discussion down below in the comments sections. What do you want to have? How much customizability do you want to have from the game? What do you expect? How much do you want to expect? Do we want to see in the game? And do you also, oh gosh, sorry, I didn't really know what I want to say. Do you guys also have some great examples of what skins can do in nature? And if so, please let me know. I'm always a sucker for information about that. I'm trying to get even more in depth with the animals already known from being in the game, and also want to make sure that I gather as many information about them, especially about their usage of their skin, for example. That would be awesome. But now, before we end this episode, I just want to show you one more example, and this is also something I found on various pages. So on the left hand side, you can see variants of skin of an elephant, and yes, I have to put more information into this because this is just a close-up and you can't really tell that these are two variations of elephants. So we have the African elephant on the top and the down image, and we have the Asian elephant, which is also appearing differently. So we've seen from the images of Planet Zoo already that they went, at least for what we know, for the African elephant in here. To be honest, it's also my favorite. So this is mainly grounded in the fact that these are the elephants I got to know when I was a kid, and I just fell in love with them. I find like though them having bigger ears and you know, this a little bit more bulky, less bulky but more majestic look to them makes them appear like these elephants I know. However, when we've been to Thailand, we've been together with Asian elephants, and they are as cute and as nice as they are. As they look to be as African variants of them, but they surely look different. Their ears are much smaller than their African counterpart, and also the skin, as you can see, is quite different. They have a lot more brighter flat spots where, you know, the scales are even less darkened, and they don't have that many vertical scratches, whereas the African one has a lot deeper wrinkles, I should say, scratches is maybe being hurt. I don't want them being hurt. And yeah, so as you can really tell from these images, there's a lot of variation in here. So where you can see the scales being a little bit more spotted here, you have a more very darkish gray tone, which is basically the whole skin, and just you know, getting just the texture in by having the wrinkles. You can tell from the upper image that there's a lot more going on, with like even going into a somewhat beige, yellowish and grayish tone to it, which then molds together to what appears to be a very warm gray. But if you look closer, you can definitely tell that there's a lot more going on in terms of colors than what is going on in the image down here. This is all more grayish, and yes, obviously your monitor will also differ from what I can see, but yeah, this is also grounded in actual wildlife, as you can see. And this lion on the right hand side is a genetically modified lion that has been experimented with in South Africa, and I'm sounding a little bit too happy here, I should say. I totally not agree with making these experiments here, but the one thing I wanted to point out is, and this is also going back into Jurassic World Evolution, that's something I don't necessarily want to see in the game. I am really talking about having natural variations of skins, furs, however you want to call that, but making the appearance of the animals customizable as heck. And there's one last thing. If they go for Easter eggs or something, yes, I would love to swap textures. So just imagine having a lion and put a tiger texture on it, having an elephant and putting, I don't know, a turtle texture on it. That would be funny, and just to create something ridiculous. If that would be somehow possible as an Easter egg, that would be very funny indeed. But it's not a must. A must for me is only that we have the most customizable yet realistic looking animal skins to date, I should say. And yeah, that's what I was aiming for with this video. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis of yeah, it's not really an analysis, it's more like a guessing, or not even guessing, it's more like a Rudi hopes for variants of skin color episode. I don't even know, but that makes up for a very, very bad title. So let me try to wrap this up now, and hopefully you guys enjoyed talking a little bit about skins and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any further questions regarding animal skins in general, or what do you expect from the game in terms of skins and fur and whatnot. That would be awesome to start this and kick this discussion off in the comment section down below. And I hope to see you in the next video, hopefully then with some new content updates we hopefully get within this week, because now it's Monday or Tuesday, not quite sure when I'm going to release that episode. And tomorrow then, or 2 days more, on Wednesday, the kind of release, or not release, what's going on with my talking today? The announcement is already 1 week old, so hopefully we get maybe one more screenshot or something. I don't know, that would be awesome. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and now I'm really ending this episode, so thank you for sticking with me again, and enjoy your day. See you in the next one. Until then, your camel. Bye bye.
Gonna push that daydream up the mountain slope.